God's plan. God's plan. I hold back sometimes.
Welcome back. Another episode of Math Talk with Mr. Faison. And I'm Mr. Faison. As y'all can see, I already got my gloves on, so I'm ready to work. Today, what we're going to be doing is comparing and ordering decimals. Go ahead and get that pencil and paper. Let's get started. But first, I want to ask you this. Which one is bigger? This one or this one? If we look at it from money terms, this would actually be 50 cents, and this would be 5 cents, right? The one thing I want y'all to understand is, I told y'all there's an infinity amount of zeros behind this, right? It's an infinity amount of zeros behind this, and it's an infinity amount of zeros behind this, meaning they go on forever and ever, right? So what I can do is I can fill the zero in. That missing space, because this has 2 spaces, I fill that in, right? And get that one 2 spaces. So I add a 0 right there, all right? Now we're looking at it, it looks like that, 50 cents, and this looks like 5 cents. Now we're looking at a whole totally different thing, and we know that one would be the bigger number, okay? So let's see something. Which one is bigger? Going the top or the bottom? Now what I would say is do this, right? Just like I told you, there's an infinity amount of zeros. So this one has 3, make this one have 3 as well, all right? So fill in this little space. Make it, put the 0 right there. Now it looks totally different, right? So before we were just saying 45, but now we're looking at 450 and 449, all right? We know that this one will be the bigger one. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a couple problems up. Which one is the bigger one, right? So remind you, we look at it, we just wanna fill in these spaces, fill in these empty gaps. This one has 3 behind the decimal. This one has 3. This one only has 2. Fill in that empty space. All right. We're looking at a totally different problem now. If we're looking for the greater one, we're going with that one. If I'm coming here, right? Fill in that empty space. This one has 4. This one has 3. Come there. Add that 0. Right? This is going to be a greater one. All right, so that's just us working with 2 groups of numbers. What does it look like when we have 4 numbers and we need to put them from least to greatest? Oh, all right, we get a little better with this little YouTube thing, all right. Cool, so what they did was they gave us 2 problems. What we wanna do is we wanna take them and we wanna label them from least to greatest, from smallest to largest, right? So remember, we looking, this has 3 behind the decimal, that has 3 behind the decimal. That's the largest amount. I want to make sure this has 3 behind the decimal and that has 3 behind the decimal. So I'm going to fill them in, right? We got this, that's 0. We have this, that's going to be 0. That's going to be 0, right? So now we're looking from smallest to largest. If I look, this one right here is going to be my smallest one. That's going to be the smallest one. This is going to be the second smallest one, third, and that's going to be the largest one, right? Why? Now, some of y'all might look like, hold up, why you put this one as the smallest one, right? This one got 0, 0, 5, but it also has 14 in the front. We can't forget that. They got a 14 in the front. So this is the biggest one, because all this is, that's 4, that's 4, that's 4. You get what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily just going off of the decimals in this case. We still have to look at the whole number that's in front of the decimal. It's like money, right? This $14 is more than $4, right? Right. So now I get to this one. I get to question number 2, all right? What I'm looking at here is, this has 3 spaces. I want to make sure this has 3 spaces, that has 3 spaces, and that has 3 spaces. So we got 0, 0, 0. All right. Now, I move forward, and I see which one is the smallest one, right? Which one is the very smallest one? I'm gonna go with this one. All right, that's the first smallest one. The next smallest one is this one. All right. The third smallest one and the fourth smallest one. That's what we're looking at, right? When we talk about ordering. So, I ain't gonna lie. for today's math class. That's it. It's a wrap. All right, so we just knocked out comparing and ordering decimals. Hey, that's another episode of Math Talk with Mr. Faison. I'm gonna see y'all next time.
God's plan. God's plan.